Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Good morning.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai. Yes, we start the review with this day Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story following Tinubu's appeal, Judge adjourns CSU records case to Monday. Temporarily stays execution of earlier order after president's plea. It will cause severe and irreparable harm to him. Tinubu departs New York en route Paris to Abuja. Yes, the team of the president responded yesterday with that plea, which has been granted by the judge. But Nigerians will be curious what manner of damage, irreversible, irreparable damage, the release of the documents will cause to our president. Well, whether that is just a case put forward, an argument put forward by the lawyers to stay execution on that order, the order given on Tuesday for the immediate release within 48 hours was the duration given by the judge for the relevant documents, certificates, and other academic documents of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, then student of Chicago State University, to be released to Atiku Abubakar. Lawyers have asked of what use will those documents be to Atiku Abubakar in his pursuit of his presidential ambition right now at the Supreme Court. But again, we'll just keep watching and waiting and see how the U.S. court will conclude this. Of course, Monday is another date, and the Supreme Court already considered waiting to hear the cases put forward by not only Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the PDP, but also that of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, both of whom are not satisfied with the outcome of their petitions at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Now, the other story there, Tinubu to Guterres, I am ready to take tough decisions even if they make me unpopular, declares Africa no longer accept rights advocacy violating our land's economies, stresses need for UN to transit from talk shop to action coordinating center, says he survived gripping poverty. UN scribe, Nigeria indispensable in West Africa. Well, the president continued with the UN General Assembly activities. Yesterday met with the Secretary General of the United Nations, Guterres, while saying all the right were speaking as an African leader. And perhaps this is one outing. We'll say the president has made all the right speeches, hit all the right notes, and what is left is the action. In addition, of course, meeting with business leaders before the General Assembly started, bringing in another round of pledges from America of investment coming to the country. But let's look at what is happening in the country. The Punch newspaper reporting, federal government may pay 1.68 trillion naira fuel subsidy. Marketers forecast 900 naira per liter. Petrol price to rise again as naira nears 1,000 naira. Crude oil hits $95 per barrel. Ipman warns operators commend government for subsidy proposal. CSOs oppose fresh subsidy. One of the points the president made yesterday morning, yes, that was when he delivered his address at the United Nations, Nigerian time, yesterday early morning. He stressed the issue of fuel subsidy, top decision has taken, including the corrupt subsidy regime. Now we are back to subsidy regime. Corrupt subsidy regime. Because even the way NNPC has gone about it, very opaque. How much, where's the money coming from that you are using to subsidize? Even before the money arrives, before Nigerians can even decipher what money NNPC is talking about, is it the money from the LNG, the dividend from the LNG? And we are told already part of it, if not all, gone into subsidy. Who is auditing the NNPC? Even before you receive money, you have spent them. The dividend from the LNG, I think that money ought to have gone into the Federation account. An investment of the federal government, of course, NNPC holding that, but we are talking about subsidy. It's back. We thought this discussion had passed. We'll just deal with the palliatives to cushion the effect, but now, well, when the president comes back from this trip, I'm sure his table will be full with a lot of documents to deal with. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, another news, not so cheery. Naira crosses 1,000 naira to the dollar in black market. Cost of living will increase, experts are saying. Of course, the women are feeling it from the market. The men, like Ruben, feeling it in the pockets. But you are not part of the pandemic of empty pockets. You just have to spend what you have because you have it, Ruben. Well, let's look at other stories. The Guardian newspaper, paradox of plenty. Nigeria loses 1 trillion naira yearly importing active pharmaceutical ingredients. Well, I'll just move to the next story. The Leadership newspaper, depleting number of justices overstretches Supreme Court. Justices now 11 as Amina Oige bows out. Calls for continual review to free courts from undue hardship. Yes, Justice Amina Oige, of course, finally bowed out for the Supreme Court. Retired. Of course, there was that session, valedictory session held in her honor yesterday. And she's asking the National Assembly to do something to free the courts from undue hardships. But again, I'm sure lawyers will continue discussing some of these points in the days ahead. Not only when a Supreme Court is bowing out. This should be continuous conversation until action is taken by the appropriate body, the National Assembly in this case. Now, the Nation newspaper, Tinubu woos Nigerians in US to invest back home, overcome setbacks, adopt new mindset. President advises. Yes, after during the meeting with Nigerians in the US, President appealing to them to come home. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper, Tinubu to Guterres, the world will ignore Nigeria at its own peril. But let's just look at one of the stories below the masthead. Shuaibu to Obaseki, I am sorry, I miss you. We can still work together. Of course, that's Philip Shuaibu, the Deputy Governor of Edo State. On News 90 yesterday, that video was aired, where he said he was with his church people, that is a practicing Catholic. I don't know whether it was the clerics that brought him to this level, asking him to do what he has done. But he said, I'm sorry, please forgive me, to Governor Godwin Obaseki. Of course, Godwin Obaseki, I want to believe, is also a Christian. When you are asked for forgiveness, what you expect is to forgive. But it tells you the next level, when we describe what happened the other day as a dramatization of the feud between Godwin Obaseki, Philip Shuaibu, and his principal, the governor of Edo State. But now, well, he seemed to have taken another turn. This time, asking for forgiveness. He has realized his fault, that whatever he has done knowingly or unknowingly, that has offended the governor, he said the governor should forgive him. Well, as somebody with an elder's background, I would say, Godwin Obaseki, please forgive him, because to err is human, to forgive is divine. And if you don't forgive, you too will not be forgiven, because that is what we say when we say the Lord's Prayer. Now, let's move on. The Vanguard newspaper, fresh strike looms as NLC ultimatum expires today. What will NLC do next? We'll wait. Now, the Guardian newspaper of UK, foreign newspapers now, campaigners plan legal challenges to Sunak's U-turn on green policies. Yes, Watchdog says changes will make it harder to meet legal commitments by the UK. Well, we knew that this was going to come. Rishi Sunak haven't put out his plan, but there are those who are also kicking. Now, the Times of, let's just go to the Independent newspaper. The Sun says on Rupert Murdoch as he retires at 92. The world's most powerful and divisive media tycoon hands over the Sun, Times newspaper, and First Corporation to his son, Lachlan, after more than 70 years of making headlines. Reuben Rufai Ayo. Murdoch has retired.
Let me start with the climate campaigners, activists who are fighting Rishi Sunak. What has Rishi Sunak done? He says he has taken that option because he's acting in the interest of households in Britain in order to reduce costs. But the issue, as we pointed out on this earlier, is that, look, he's placing politics before economics. And that's why Friends of the Earth and other, climate change campaigners and, net zero campaigners are going after him. So, but, it's going to be a major issue in the coming elections. As for Rupert Murdoch, 70 years, one of the most formidable, media owners in the world, with influence stretching across, territories from Australia to the UK to the United States. And so, what you'll find is a man, he's one of the most formidable media owners that you have ever had. However, he says he's going to be chairman emeritus. His son will be chairman of the two corporations. He says because this contest of ideas cannot be left to the elites who are perpetually thinking that the people who are not in the same class with them are inferior, and that he will still remain active, to contest ideas within the public space while his son runs it. Okay, very interesting proposition. If you look at his profile, he's done so much, since 1969. The Times, Sky, started paywall TV, then Fox News in the United States. But the point about succession, his children are likely to fight when he dies. James, his second son, doesn't see eye to eye with Lachlan, his first son. The two ladies, Elizabeth and the other one, nobody knows where their loyalties lie. So after Rupert Murdoch, that's when the real fight for the empire will begin. It's at 92.
The solution,
yes,
he should write his will.
Well,
and distribute
but
they will contest his will.
No, it's about how to run the family trust.